Okay, so I didn't finish the reading rush this year. I struggled quite a lot. Hi, if you didn't know, I'm Siobhan, and I'm just going to talk today a little bit about my reading rush experience this year. I gave up on the reading rush this year. This was my first year participating in the reading rush. And from the outside, watching the vlogs, it looks incredibly fun. You get to do all of these challenges, you get to read all of these books, you get to make all of these new friends. And it's kind of a challenge to yourself to just spend a week reading. That's how it was kind of sold to me, and I really loved that idea. In reality, I completely underestimated how much work goes into being a booktuber and doing a readathon like this. If you want to get out vlogs every day, like a lot of people do, then you have to spend a significant portion of your day editing your video. I'm quite a perfectionist when it comes to editing, and it can take hours and hours to edit down footage. And I was taking a lot of footage as well every day. If you have an hour's worth of raw footage and you want to cut it down to 20 minutes, that takes 5. Hi, if you didn't know, I'm Siobhan. Welcome to my channel. I'm just going to talk a little bit today about my experience of the reading rush this year. This was my first year doing the reading rush. I had never participated in a readathon before, and I was so excited. From the outside, as someone who's not a booktuber, who's just watching the vlogs, it looks so fun, right? You get to spend a week reading as much as you possibly can. You have all of these books to read, and you can just spend time focusing on that. And you can do all these challenges, which are really fun, and you can meet people, and you can just generally feel like a part of the booktube community. And I saw that and I thought, I want in, I would really love to be part of that. What I underestimated personally was how much work goes into a readathon when you are also a booktuber. If you want to upload daily vlogs, like a lot of people do, you have to spend hours of every day editing, hours filming and hours editing. So if you have an hour of raw footage or more, that can take 4, 5, 6 hours of editing to get down to 20 minutes. If you are as perfectionist about it as me, and if you and ah as much as I do and need as many jump cuts. So I personally struggled with that aspect when I was trying to film everything and trying to do all these challenges and trying to edit and trying to read. And I actually have a day job as well. A part-time day job, but a day job that I needed to do every day. And for me, that wasn't possible. It wasn't good for my mental health. I wasn't enjoying it because I couldn't focus on reading the book that I wanted to read, and I couldn't focus on the story because I was thinking about how much editing I had to do or how much I needed to film my reactions. It's hard to live in the moment and enjoy something when you are recording it and when you are thinking about how to record it. So I personally didn't love that aspect of it. What was different when I did the 7 books in 7 days on my own was that I felt I was doing it as a personal challenge, and I didn't feel like that pressure to upload every day. I could take a week or 2 weeks to edit something and then put it out whenever I wanted to. The difference with the reading rush is it's immediate. Everyone's putting their vlogs out the next day as quickly as possible, and so the pressure to create that content quickly is really there, or at least I was putting that pressure on myself. The other aspect of it that I really wanted to take part in was the social aspect of it. I was really looking forward to making new booktube friends and meeting people who were also vlogging, who were also talking about the same books that I was, and I didn't get the chance to do that properly. I wanted to set up a buddy read and I tried to do it, but I wasn't committed enough because I was thinking about all of these other things that I didn't manage to do it in the end, and I felt really bad, like I'd let the other person down. All of the things that I was trying to do was just too much. Thinking about all of the challenges as well, not just the main reading rush challenges, but the Instagram challenges, the Twitter sprints. There's so much to take part in, which is great in one way, but in another way it feels overwhelming, and it feels like there's too much out there to do that I can't possibly do on top of vlogging, on top of recording, and on top of trying to actually read the books that I promised to read. Another part of it was that my TBR was ridiculously too long and too full of large books and I should have been more realistic with it. Still, I felt that pressure because I put a TBR out there to fulfill the promise, right? To do what I said I would do and read all of those books and succeed. But the thing is, there's something in there that I think is a dangerous idea. That idea of needing to succeed, to win, or to compete with other people and to tick off all of the challenges, and that is the only achievement that I felt was worthwhile, which is totally wrong, because even reading a page or a word should be like celebrated, you know? It should be just about the joy and the love of reading, not about numbers and how many books you tick off or how many different challenges you complete. So I found that demotivating rather than motivating, as I was expecting. Another aspect of the reading rush that I didn't enjoy so much this year was not only that feeling of competitiveness with other people, which I wasn't expecting, and I think that was probably me putting that on myself, but also seeing everybody updating everyone on their reading and, you know, succeeding and meeting all of their goals made me feel worse when I felt demotivated to read, when I didn't want to read, when I was tired and overwhelmed and thinking about work and reaching all of my goals. One thing that really helped me was when Kayla from Books and Lala talked in her vlog about how difficult it is to vlog during a readathon and gave some tips on how to do it, some more realistic tips like starting to edit in the middle of the day and to let things slide, because you are going to have to let things slide during a readathon. So to hear someone talk a bit about their struggles really helped, and to see other people on Twitter talk about how they were failing or giving up at the reading rush. So yeah, I want to talk a bit about failure and how it's okay not to reach all of these goals all of the time, that if you're pushing yourself too hard, it's okay to recognize that and to stop and to take a step back. So that is why I didn't release my final part of my vlog. I'm not sure if I will put the vlog footage in before this or not. Hello, this is Editing Siobhan here, just popping in to say I will not be including vlog footage. I just had a look through all of the vlog footage that I took for days 5, 6 and 7, and I think you can tell from it that I'm exhausted, that I'm really not enjoying myself, and I'm not putting like 100% into it because I'm not enjoying the experience. So I don't personally want to put that footage out there into the world, because I look at it and I can just tell that I'm stressed and tired and not enjoying it, and I don't know if that's really going to be an enjoyable experience for you to watch. So I won't be including the vlog footage. The only footage I'm really proud of from it is I went on a walk and I took some lovely nature footage, so maybe I'll include that in a future video, who knows. The next aspect of why I don't think I'll be doing the reading rush in the future is because of the hosts and because of some of the mistakes that they've made this year that really made me disenchanted from the whole idea of the reading rush. A lot of this is documented on Twitter and documented better by other people, but essentially one of the first mistakes they made was that they announced the reading rush on Juneteenth, which is an important holiday in America for people of colour, specifically black people, which felt like an insensitive misstep on their part to have chosen a day that risks taking attention away from something else more important, particularly as the murder of George Floyd was dominating the headlines and dominating the news at that time, and it really felt like the space needed to be made for that story and for people's voices to be heard and for the Black Lives Matter movement to take central stage. It seemed like a strange misstep to make, for which they apologised. But then they've made some other mistakes, all of which I probably can't enumerate here because I can't remember off the top of my head, but one of their prompts was to read a book outside, which is obviously going to be difficult during a pandemic, especially for a lot of people who are shielding or living in countries where the coronavirus is still very, very much at the forefront. It seemed like something that they could have thought through a bit more with their prompt. They did then change the prompt to say that you could interpret it more creatively, which is really good. But again, it just showed a lack of forethought in some places and a lack of real thinking about equality, inclusion, accessibility, because it's also not a prompt that is particularly good for everyone. When you're thinking about accessibility, it may not be possible for a lot of people to read outside, so that's something that maybe should have been thought about a little bit more. And then I think the final straw for everyone was the group book club discussion that was meant to happen. Now, I was one of the many people who didn't even realize that there was supposed to be a group book. So there was a community voted for group book that was suggested you could read as part of the Reading Rush Challenge. There was a series of options and people voted for Such a Fun Age. And this is a book by a Black author about Black experiences of racism and microaggression from white people. And many people were looking forward to reading this book, but it wasn't advertised as being a group book. I didn't know that this was happening at all until after the book club discussion was supposed to happen. The hosts, Ariel and Raylene, were supposed to host a talk about the book, discussion about the book, that people could join in on in the chat, a live discussion. And when they turned up for the live discussion, they hadn't read the book. And apparently, I didn't see this video of myself, but they kind of laughed a bit dismissively about the fact that they hadn't read the book and proceeded to change the video into a Q&A session instead, which again shows kind of an insensitivity from the team around thinking about racial dynamics in that situation, thinking about who has the power and who doesn't have the power, and how that feels a lot like punching down. It is punching down when you are laughing about not reading a book by a person of color about racism, especially during times such as these, and when you have a large audience of Black readers for your readathon who are really excited about discussing the issues in this book, and that you didn't make the time to make that happen. I think it was the last straw for a lot of people, and I completely understand why. And I think it shows that the hosts maybe have been overwhelmed by the amount of work that they had to do for the readathon. I can't imagine trying to do this readathon as well as trying to run it. And that, I think, is what they were trying to do. They were trying to read all of these books and run a readathon that has grown exponentially, and there are many thousands and thousands of people participating in this readathon, and there's a website, and there's an Instagram, and there's a Twitter, and there's sprints, and there's lots of things to keep track of. And I think if you are becoming an institution, which the Reading Rush is, the Reading Rush is becoming not only an institution but something that is trying to sell us products now. They are continually promoting their merchandise. When you become a company who is selling people a product, you need to be careful not just about your own actions, but also thinking about the actions of your company, your brand, and how much of a responsibility they have on that front, which I hope has become abundantly clear to them now. They have made apologies. It's not up to me to accept those apologies. It's, you know, I'm not the one who was harmed by this. It's many Black participants of the Reading Rush who can talk on that front on what they think. And I will link Myona's video below from Myona Reads, who I think talks really eloquently on this topic. And all of this kind of comes together to create a sense of unease in me about the whole event. I didn't enjoy it, and also it feels like it is becoming quite commercialized, quite big, quite interested in selling you merchandise. I'll put it that way. And once things get to that level, I think sometimes the human connection is lost. And I feel like what I wanted to do, which was to connect to other booktubers, other small booktubers, like myself, who were making videos, who were talking about the Reading Rush, wasn't really possible at the scale that this readathon has become, and wasn't possible with what I was personally trying to do either. So in future, I think I'm going to be more realistic about what I do if I do readathons. Maybe also be more discerning and thinking about what readathons I want to do, looking at more diverse readathons, a bunch of which I will link down below that I'm really excited to see and hear about on Twitter. And if I do decide to do more readathons, that I'm just a bit more conscious of what the hosts are trying to do with it, what the purpose of the readathon is, and that it is as diverse and inclusive as possible. Thanks for watching this video. I apologise if I've disappointed you by not posting the vlog footage for the final part of the Reading Rush. If you want to know how I did, I read 4 or 5 books in the end, I think. I honestly don't remember. I might put up some text here, or future Siobhan might pop in to let you know how I actually did. Future Siobhan here, looking fabulous as ever. I read a grand total of 4 books. I read, in the end, Howl's Moving Castle, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Little Fires Everywhere, We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngoze Adichie, which wasn't on my TBR, but it was a short book and I needed something to read outside as an audiobook. And I started A Book of Secrets, but I didn't finish it during the reading rush. I finished it afterwards. I will be talking about all of those books more in depth in my next reading wrap-up whenever I do one of those. I kind of gave up on the last day, to be honest. I got very exhausted and very tired. I have read some more of the books that I said I would read since, just in my own time, slowly, and I've been really enjoying doing that. So thanks for bearing with me. Love you all, and see you again soon. Bye.